So I'm about 15 or just under 15 miles out of Nome now. So I've covered most of the 43 miles I had to cover today. So when I got up this morning, checked to make sure the winds were good, because just outside the first couple miles, or the first 5 miles I suppose, from leaving the cabin is one of the real windy danger areas. And a few of the mushers and a few of the actual bike riders have had to pause, and a couple of people have been caught out just as the winds roar down the river there, try and push everything out to sea. So check the winds, they were good. Crossed through there, mild wind but nothing to worry about. So from there, the trail's been really good. A little bit inconsistent as it warmed up, it kind of got a little bit sticky, so it slowed down a little bit. But it's hardened up again now, making pretty good time. So I reckon 4.5 hours and I'll be in Nome. So that'll just give me a daylight finish, because it gets dark pretty late here because the sun isn't going down until about 10 o'clock. So got to Safety Roadhouse, covered the 23 miles to there, passed through the last checkpoint, and now sort of around 14-15 miles out of Nome itself. So I'm not too sure how long before I hit the outskirts of the city. I think they're a couple miles out. So the trail is really good, moving pretty quick, and I'm looking forward to finishing this off. So about 4 hours time, I should be standing underneath the Burled Arch, having finished 1,000 miles. So looking forward to that. So should be good. So I just got to enjoy these last couple of hours, keep my mind occupied, because I don't want to start overthinking the finishing and what I'm going to do and all that sort of crap. It just sort of starts to drag on a little bit. So just enjoy it, make the most of the sun. It's a beautiful afternoon beside the beach, good trail. So should be.
So day 26 and the final day. So after getting to sleep, I was joined in the cabin by Ryan, who turned up a little bit later because he spent a little bit longer at White Mountain just sorting his stuff out. So when he got there, I helped him get a feed, get some more water on, sort some stuff out so that we could both get back into, or so we could both get down for the night and then get up early in the morning. So got up early in the morning, started making the trip, and I was super confident that I'd be able to cover the final 40 or so miles in a day. And it started out really well. It was dark. We got through the blowhole quite easily without any wind. There was sort of mild wind, and you could feel, even though there was a little bit of wind around, you could feel it pick up in certain parts. So you could sort of get a feeling of just how dangerous it could get through there. And there were really tall marker posts situated sort of a lot closer than what they normally were along the rest of the trail, just so that it was much easier to follow, because in high wind it'd be complete whiteout and you'd just be struggling to see, and you'd just sort of, these posts that were probably 2 to 3 meters tall, maybe even taller, covered in reflective markers, were probably the only thing that would help you be able to navigate through this area. So we just kept going until the sun came up, and then the trail was in pretty good condition. We kind of hit where the trail met the road onto the way to Nome. So from here it was just going to be sealed road all the way in. So the road was in okay condition. There was some snow on there, but it's sort of, the temperature wasn't that low, so it started getting to about 0 or a little bit above, and you could just feel the surface of the trail, or the snow, just starting to get a little bit sticky, which made it a little bit slower, a little bit harder going. So sort of hit the roadhouse at Safety at around about lunchtime, stopped there for a little bit of a feed. A few sort of snow machiners were coming through here and there and just stopping for a chat, which was fine, but I was sort of in a mindset where I just wanted to get this done, so I didn't want to really stop and chat. So I lost sort of an hour or two over the duration of the day just chatting to snow machiners, but it was sort of good just to stop and chat. And then from there, it was along the road. We sort of went around a big corner or over a little bit of a hill where the trail turned to shit a little bit, and every time it turned to shit, I was just getting a little bit frustrated because I just wanted this to end. I was really tired. I hadn't slept the night before, and I was just kind of struggling to keep going. I was trying to keep eating, keep walking, and just keep moving. And then we could see Nome about 10 miles out because the hospital's quite large, and it just seemed to go forever. And then sort of you go over a rise, you go down, you go over a rise, you go down. It just seems to carry on. And then eventually you get close enough, you can start to make things out. People come out to meet you, and then we sort of got a little bit of guidance down along the trail, and then where to come up into the town, and then it's on the road really smooth, and then you get around a corner and there's the finishing arch for the 1,000-mile race. So because we turn up so late, it's normally on the main street for the mushing race. Some of the bikers get it there, but then they hide it back around the corner in a park out of the way. So by the time we get there, you know, most of the fanfare's done, everything's packed up, but it's just sitting there in the park. Got to the the arch, and it was just a nice feeling to know that I didn't have to walk again, that I could just sit here and rest. I didn't have to melt snow, I didn't have to try and make food or water, I didn't have to get up in the morning and walk 40-50 miles. It was just a really good feeling, or almost a relief, mental relief, to know that I'd got here. So it felt really good knowing that I'd been able to finish the 1,000 miles I'd set out and I'd achieved what I'd done, which is something that not too many people have done. It just felt great to finish, just a huge accomplishment, really good achievement. So we spent kind of 10-15 minutes there. So I had a glass of whiskey and a victory cigar to celebrate finishing, and then after that was done, it was starting to get pretty cold and we were getting pretty hungry, so I was sort of off into the bed and breakfast accommodation that we had for the night. Nice big pizza, probably another glass or two of whiskey to celebrate, and then from there it was just into bed for a really good sleep, and going to sleep knowing that I didn't have to get up early in the morning and just punish myself the next day. It was sort of nice just to be able to sleep, knowing I could relax, sleep in, get up whenever I wanted, have another shower in the morning. I'd have clean clothes because I'd showered, washed all my clothes, just sorted everything out, and I was just ready to sort of start heading back into what is a normal life after such a huge amount of time on the trail. 1,000 miles is such a huge distance, and 26 days out there was sort of a fairly long time, but after a while it's just one day bleeds into another and you kind of lose track of your days, but just such a great feeling to have finally finished. And it was good to be able to finish together with Ryan, who I'd sort of shared a fair bit of the second half of the trail with. Although when you're out there on the trail itself, you're kind of alone with your own thoughts. You might see someone on the horizon or further back, sort of thing, but we sort of spent a lot of time in and around the shelter cabins, in the checkpoints, in the villages, when we were stopped here and there on the trail, just sort of sharing food, stories, having a laugh. So it was really nice to have had good company and then be able to finish this off together. So thanks for the laughs, mate. It was great doing it with you. And if I did it again, I'd probably do it all the same.
Whiskey and cigar, why not? After 1,000 miles.
But you had to lug it how long have you lugged it?
That's going to be the challenge.
The whole way?
You better do it.
Wow, that's dedication.